have been making unconventional choices when it comes to their careers. One such career choice was made by this smart and sassy 17-year-old Sameera Joshi and her creator Apeksha Rao. A big hello from the team of Between the Lines, a space where we bring to you interesting personalities and take you into their lives, their careers, and their passion. Apeksha, a Mumbaiker to the core but now settled in Bangalore, is a well-known homeopath, a mom to two lovely boys, and now a writer. We get chatting with her on her own unconventional career switch. Welcome Apeksha to the episode of Between the Lines. How are you?
Hi Lipika, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
After having started off a career as a doctor, what was it that made you become a writer?
I think it was all the stories that were packed inside my brain. So, as a child, I've always been a dreamer. I would always be dreaming up stories and characters and people. And even if I had to go for a long train ride, I would be looking out of the window and I could enjoy a 2-hour train ride. I wouldn't grumble even when I was a little kid. I would never grumble asking mommy, when are we going to reach? Because I would have something running in my mind constantly, cooking up stories and, dreaming up people. And that continued. So as a child, I used to write and life got in the way when I started practice and I stopped writing, but I didn't stop dreaming. So after I had my children, it was, it was like a switch was turned on in my brain and all my creativity just came tumbling out. So that's when I started writing.
How did you see your life change with every new role that you acquired? And how has that influenced your writing?
So what happened was I started writing while I was on maternity leave. So I would be sitting up at night and you know how kids wake up at night to feed, right? So I would be rocking a baby on one side and tapping away at the iPad on the other side. And at 3 o'clock at night, weird ideas used to come into my head and I would just have to get them down at that minute. So that's when I started blogging and writing. But I was still practicing. Like when my kids were around 7 months old, I went back to practice. So when they were around 2 years old, we moved to Bangalore and I realized that I couldn't handle all of it. I couldn't set up a new practice, raise 2 small babies and write. It was becoming a little too much to juggle. So that's when I had to make a choice, an active choice. And I realized that other people could treat my patients. Other doctors could treat my patients, but no one could tell my stories the way I tell. So that was that was a choice that I had to make and it was a very difficult decision, but I did make that choice.
So Apeksha's character is this 17-year-old girl whose only dream in life is to be a spy. Leading missions, running agents, evading, exploding napalm. Sameera wants to do it all. And why should it not? After all, Sameera's mom and dad are spies too. One day, she accidentally discovers a secret sisterhood of teen spies named the Spiders. And that's when it all starts. Before we move ahead, do like and subscribe. Apeksha, how much of your parents' careers had a role to play in you making your career choices?
So my parents are doctors and I come from a long line of doctors. So if there's a function on my father's side, it'll look like a medical convention. So that's how many doctors there are on my father's side.
Why is it so common for children to pick their parents' careers? Why do you think they are not able to break away from and create something of their, have a mindset of their own and think of careers that they would like to pursue which are starkly different from what their parents do? It is a very regular Indian thing. What is it about? What do you think is the reason?
So I think it's also about conditioning. Like for me, dinner table conversations were always about medicine. It was always about patients and cases, and so I was conditioned to get into that. My brother did make a different choice. He hated everything to do with medicine, so he got into engineering, and so he did make that choice. And when I was in the 10th, my mother did give me a choice. She told me, "You write really well. Why don't you take up writing?" And I had been so conditioned by the whole thing that I never thought of making that choice. Maybe if I had done that, I might have been in a different place today. But I also feel that because I took up homeopathy, it gave me an insight into human nature, which adds a lot of color to my writing. So I feel it worked out well for me, and I think I am privileged in the way that I could make that choice later in life. You know, a lot of people make a career choice and they're forced to stick to it. At least, you know, I feel lucky that I didn't have to do that. I could make the switch. So Indians are, first of all, we're conditioned by job security and status. So we are, parents will think of medicine and engineering as first career choices for their kids. But I think my mother was the only weird mother who told me, no, it's okay if you don't become a doctor, become a writer. That will suit you better. But I had this craze for, it's in my blood. So I was crazy about becoming a doctor.
But that brings us to an important point. You know, you mentioned that while you stuck to what your parents were doing, your brother decided to take a very different path. And that brings me to a question on gender. Do you think it has got something to do with conditioning of genders in our homes differently? I mean, do you still think that girls and boys are brought up very differently and conditioned very differently in home, and that is what also influences their career choices?
In a lot of Indian homes, yes. Boys have a lot more freedom and flexibility in deciding their careers versus girls, because one is that girls are not very they're not encouraged to have conventional unconventional, to make unconventional choices. So girls aren't encouraged to do that, and there's always this risk averseness. You wouldn't like your daughter to take on a risky career because you also have to think about the stability of her future. So you'd rather that she's slotted into a stable, if boring, job, so that she has some amount of stability and security. Whereas for a guy, he'll land on his feet. So a lot of parents think that kuch bhi ho jaye, the guy will land on his feet, and they have a lot more freedom. But thankfully, in my family, that attitude does not exist. So my parents would have been okay if I had chosen to be a writer even in the 10th standard. I just took a detour and decided to become a doctor, and then...
You chose to debut with a teen novel. What was the reason for that?
To be honest, Lipika, I think I'm a teenager at heart, and I've said this before. I am a teenager and I will remain a teenager until the day I die. So when I started writing, it was a natural choice. I mean, this idea had been germinating in my brain for a long time, writing about a group of teen spies. So when I started writing, it was but normal for that idea to come up first, and for me to try to explore that. I didn't really think of it as a teen novel. I didn't really think of writing the first YA spy novel in India, because honestly, when I started writing, I didn't even know I was going to be published. I just wanted to get this story out, and that's how it turned out.
And still, after having written 2 novels, you decided to enroll yourself into a writing workshop. What made you do that? I mean, that's quite, again, unconventional for writers who've already been published to be enrolling themselves into writing workshops.
Actually, that's the best thing to do. I mean, when you're very new to writing, a lot of time you might not get the nuances of what the person is trying to teach you. I felt that because I'd already written one book and I already had faced a few roadblocks and understood the mistakes I could make, that's what helped me understand the nuances of writing better. In fact, I think this happens every time you write another book. You realize the mistakes you made in the previous one. So I wrote Along Came a Spider in 2018, and I finished editing it in 2019. 2020, I wrote the novella Itsy Bitsy Spider, and I feel that is I did a better job at that than I did at the novel, because I had grown as a writer. So I felt I was in a better place to understand what Anita could teach me than if I'd been a rank newbie.
And would you be continuing in the genre, or are you exploring something new especially after having enrolled into such a workshop?
So yeah, the book I'm currently writing is a thriller. It's a historical thriller.
Taking care of family, home, twins, and yet being able to churn out books. What do you think helps you keep calm No, I'm not going to ask you how you managed to do that, because I feel that all women are gifted and they are trained to multitask and they are superb at it. But what helps you keep calm? Because I think that is the essence of being able to function in each role properly. That's what I, as a mother and a professional, think.
So what happens is I have good days and bad days. So the days I'm able to juggle all of it and write and get about 2,000, 2,500 words down in one day, those days are good for me. I'm calm, I'm zen on those days. But the days I can't get my writing done, I'm the Grinch. I turn into this horrible monster who's grumpy and grouchy. So I think what keeps me calm is being able to follow my dreams despite everything else. So when I'm able to write, when I'm able to get into the headspace to write, then I know all's right with my world, and that keeps me calm. But when I know that, for either the kids are acting up or something is, there are too many chores happening, or I can't do my work, and I can't get into the headspace to write, that upsets me. So I realized that if I want to stay sane in life, I have to keep writing. That's the only option. That's the only way to stay sane.
I agree. To a certain extent, even I go through such phases of good days and bad days. What are the other creative inclinations that you have?
So, okay, now I talk of life as life before writing and life post writing. Yeah. So, in my earlier life, I used to play sitar. I learned sitar from a guru in the Guru Shishya Parampara. Yeah, so but now I think there's just no time, because that requires as much riyaz as writing does. So writing is riyaz as well. You have to sit butt to seat for a few hours and put in those hours, and sitar needs the same. So right now I think I just read, write, and take care of my kids. That's all I do. And I bake bread.
Women with every passing generation have lot more freedom, but I also feel they have lot many more challenges to face. Apeksha, any advice to rather I would say teen girls, to teens who are women and their parents?
I would say expose your children to a lot of different things, things that they can do. Let them try out stuff when they are young, so that by the time they reach an age where they have to make a decision, a life decision, they're equipped to decide what they want to do. Because if you keep your kids cloistered and you don't expose them to anything except studies and sports, they don't know what else they can do. They haven't developed interests. Most of us developed interests once we went to college, and once we got out of that whole 9 hours of schooling, and we all developed interests that time, and that's a little late, I think, for people to find out what they want to do. And we live in a country where a child is a young adult is not allowed to drink, is not legally allowed to vote, but is supposed to decide how they want to spend the rest of their life. And I don't think that makes sense. In what universe does that make sense? So the first big decision of their life, and they're not equipped for it. So I would say I'd say this to parents: equip your children to be happy, not to be successful. Success will come when they do what they are really happy doing. Otherwise, you'll always be pushing your child into doing something they're not really keen on, and you're pushing them, making them clear exams, and one day exams will end, and those children have to face life, and they really won't be able to enjoy what they're doing. So teens, my only advice to teens is find out one thing in life that you really love doing, and spend the rest of your life doing that. It could be anything. It could be writing, it could be medicine, it could be whatever, like it could be gaming. If you're a gamer at heart, find a way to turn that into a career so you make money doing it, and then your mom can't yell at you.
Well, that's a perfect advice and a perfect note for us to end this session. Thank you so much, Apeksha, for your time. I wish you all the very best for your writing career. I'm sure given the woman you are, you're going to be maybe in the next few years also challenging yourself for something new, which and take it up. All the best and a lot of love to your boys, and thank you to your husband for helping set it up.
Thank you for having me on Between the Lines, and it was a great pleasure working with you. The spiders benefited a lot from your help, So thank you for taking me to that place.
That was Apeksha Rao, someone who's made a very unconventional career choice and moved from becoming a doctor to becoming a writer. I will bring to you many more such similar personalities. This month we are celebrating women. As we come to the end of our session in season 2 of Between the Lines, here's wishing more power to all the lovely women out there who are pursuing unconventional careers. You will set the path for future generations to come. Until the next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep dreaming big. Bye-bye.